Hey, writers. One more time, I'm back. I wanted to talk with you really quickly about the thinking that we've been doing about all of our stories, getting ready to write a literary essay. You guys did a great job talking with groups the other day about the ideas that you've been coming up with and adding on and elaborating and saying more. And I wanted to help you take your thinking to another level real quickly. I want you to think about photography for a second. I want you to think about these pictures right here. So look at this picture to the side and think about how sometimes photographers can look at a picture and they can think, something there is really important or something there is not important. And they can kind of zoom in to place the emphasis on the things that are more important than the others, even though it's really always there all along. So take a look at this picture. And when you see that, you just kind of see the sidewalk, right? But if I want to really zoom in and show you what's important in this picture, so I actually zoomed in and saved it again, you can see what that was meant to be a picture of much more clearly now. See right there? And if you don't see, you can see that that was actually a picture of a special visitor that we've been having outside by our bunnies. But the perspective and the zoom, if you will, is what has helped us to find that and to see what was so important all the way from this perspective. So let's take that same idea into the text that we've been studying. And I want you to ask yourself, what is important? What one part of this story that I've been reading and thinking about is really especially important to this whole story? So when I think about Fox, for example, one part that feels really especially important to me is the relationship between Magpie and Fox and how they're really very different animals and very different personalities, but they develop this strong relationship. Now, I'm going to push pause. As I thought more about that, I'm reflecting on a time recently when I was talking with someone and we were saying how negative Magpie can be and how Magpie really, we were talking about how dramatic Magpie was at the beginning of the story, especially. And everything, though, Magpie was dramatic about Fox, too. Anyhow, but there was a part of the text that did not seem to fit with that. If I look back and think about what part of the text does not seem to fit with that, there's one part that I would like to zoom in on as being the most important. And I think that part might be right after Magpie comes out of the dark after being there for back in the back of the cave for over a week. And Dog is like, get on my back, hop on my back. I want to take you to the river and show you something. And they go to the river. And Magpie's, whoa, it's a strange new creature. And then for the first time, Magpie feels Dog run. And Magpie is on Dog's back. And Magpie rejoices. Remember, we talked about that. And how Magpie rejoices and says, run, Dog, run. And this is that one part in the story where Magpie doesn't seem like a really negative Nelly, like super bad dramatic, over dramatic, maybe even about everything negative in the world, how bad Fox is and how bad her wing burn is. So, one way that I want you to try today in your writing to take your ideas to another level is to focus on these two questions. What one part of my text seems especially important in the whole thing, and what parts do not fit with this text. So, your job today is to go back to the story you've been writing, go back to the pages where you've been writing about your story to grow your ideas. But instead of just writing on and using all of those thought prompts that I've hung on the wall for you, right there near the ways to push our thinking chart, I've added on some more of those thought prompts that we were using together the other day. But instead of just digging in and going further with that, I want you to also consider these two questions in your writing. And so maybe you wind up taking your thinking in another direction. By the end of today's workshop, okay, here's what I need you to produce. By the end of today's workshop, I need you to have a list of 3 ideas that you have about the one text that you're going deep with. So it might be something like, for me, Fox is a really great friend. No, sorry, wrong animal. Dog is a really great friend. Fox is not a good friend. Dog is a really great friend. Dog is very patient. And maybe magpie has a negative outlook on life. So maybe I would write those 3 ideas down. Okay. And you're going to need those for our work together on Friday to make sure that you're ready for the next step. So, writers, make sure that you're focusing on these 2 questions today and be ready for one more conversation with someone who is studying the same story at the end of today's workshop. Make sure you have work produced for that. And writers, I will see you back tomorrow. Writers Write.